Alright, so we are back here with round two. Won the die roll, and my hand is not very good. Another one of these red source Nykthos hands, and again, this is basically a spell. And like this 6 card hand is not keepable. Like a lot, not a lot would have to happen for this hand to be good. Like we would have to draw a red source, but it's also strange because we have Eidolons that are good against like creatureless decks for the most part, and then mortars which are good against decks with creatures. So our hand is also kind of schizophrenic, and no matter what, like 2 of these cards are probably not going to be very good. So I'm just going to mulligan, and this hand is perfectly reasonable. So I'm pretty happy with that. And then hopefully my opponent's here so we can actually start playing. Puppy is back, in case you guys are wondering. Hi, Puppy. She's bored chasing cats. Decided to come watch some battles. Alright, so we're underway here. Yeah, so this is kind of one of those weird hands. This deck gets a decent amount where Burning Tree is kind of, just whatever. So maybe we can draw like a Phoenix or Hammer or something to, make this so it's not just a Grizzly Bear. But he can't block my Frostburn weird. And I'm going to get the Reckoner out there. And it looks like this guy is just a monsters deck. Normally they have a ton of non-basics if they're Jund, so Forest is kind of weird. Means he's not Jund, or potentially just has a bunch of ETB tap lands. So we're not in the worst spot right now. Like he's kind of slow. If he ends up having like a removal spell or two to kill these 2 guys, then it's pretty unfortunate. But if we draw spells, we're cool. If we draw lands and he doesn't have Pelucranos, then Overload Mortars is a pretty real thing. And that's one of the reasons I started looking into this deck actually, is just because I played against this deck a few times, and Mortars was very, very good against the majority of decks that I was playing. So I was like, I want to do that. I want to Plague Wind them. It's pretty fun. So he's ticking up a Domri, hitting Elvish Mystic, and is tanking down, probably just like, which land to play. So now this is kind of interesting where I could definitely kill his Mystic, but I don't think I really want to do that, because no matter what, I'm going to be able to hit him with these guys and put Domri down to the point where he can't fight something if he has like Pelucranos or whatever. So I think I'm just going to play Burning Tree and pump the weird. So then if he blocks here, he's taking 3, and then I can redirect the other one. And that allows me to play the Temple this turn. So I'm going to attack Domri with both, and I don't think he's going to jump. I think he's just going to let Domri die. But okay, he is jumping. So Domri's going to go down to 1. I'm fine with that. And this Nykthos I don't really need, but it does allow me to overload Mortars next turn. I feel like if he had, he had the Stomping Ground, so if he had Pelucranos, he would probably just play it. So, I'm not sure what he's going to do next turn, maybe just Stormbreath Dragon. He could draw Pelucranos or find it off the Domri, and that would be really bad, but I do think that I want to overload Mortars next turn, so I'm going to keep this on top. And then I just get a ton of mana and still get to pump my Frostburn Weird and put him to 9 or something, so that sounds good to me. And hopefully it all works out and he doesn't have something with 5 toughness. Alright, going digging. So basic amount, I think he's just straight green-red at this point. Storm Breath. Yep, and on D. Okay. So now, get to do cool stuff. Pump, pump, pump. Kill Dahmer with this, and hack him here. So yeah, Smizzy Mortars, still a card, still very good. And as always, Blue Kurnos is basically the worst card for us, but if he just has like Dragon or Courser or whatever, like those are fine. Reckoner and Frostburn Weird, you can attack through those pretty easily. Elvish Mystic, probably not the follow-up he wanted. Mystic and nothing. Phoenix is almost always like the second best draw, because it's like Storm Breath would be the best because it has haste for sure, and with Nykthos I can monster sit. But if he gives me a 3/3 Phoenix, that's great because I attack him for a bunch of damage this turn. But if he makes it a 5/5, then that's also good because he can't kill this with mortars, and it's just going to like fly over Blue Kurnos and be able to attack through Storm Breath Dragon and stuff. So Storm Breath would have been slightly better, but not by much. This is basically the best draw. Decisions, buddy. I don't know. It's possible that like people are just reading this card too, because it does not see a lot of play. But I feel like the games have been pretty representative of how good this card is. Again, Fnatic would deal him a bunch of damage, but he's not really killing my guys either. So, okay, so he gave me a 3/3. I'm also fine with that, just dealing him a bunch of damage this turn. I'm just going to pump this twice and go to combat so that it doesn't put him in a spot where he can trade Mystic for it. Yeah, okay, that's fine with me. So he's at 2, I have 4 dudes. And you have a Stomping Ground. Alright. So for this matchup, definitely want some removal spells. Dreadbore's great against Blue Kurnos. Prices for dragons and coursers and stuff like that. You can make a case for like Searing Blood potentially against his elves, or maybe Scavenging Ooze with nothing else in the graveyard, but I don't really want that, and plus I have 9 removal spells already, so I don't really need these. Eidolon is probably the weakest too, but because he has some pretty cheap spells, Mystic and Caryatid, even like Courser, if he has like Mystic into Courser, like those could all be in play by the time I get to cast this, since he's on the play. And then he's probably just going to follow that up with like 4 and 5 drops, so this probably isn't going to deal him much damage and won't deal me a bunch of damage. So I don't really want those. It's possible that Chandra's may be good here, get Blue Kurnos out of the way, and then if it gets to a point where I play Chandra, make it so his Blue Kurnos can't block, and then Blue Kurnos has to attack this, that's also fine because it gets it out of the way for another turn, so then I have 2 attack steps. So maybe I want some of these. Hammer is not the worst. It is very possible that he's going to be like mortarsing me and stuff. So having A, a thing that gives my guys haste, and B, a thing that makes a constant stream of things would be good. But I think I'd rather have the Chandras here. They are going to be kind of slow on the draw and might end up actually being pretty bad. But I definitely think like 1 Chandra is better than 1 Eidolon. And there's nothing else I really want to cut. Ash Zealot is not great unless I'm clearing his guys out of the way. But it's still fine. It's still reasonable. So yeah, we're just going to go with that. Mana Confluence, Nykthos. No, thank you. And again, pretty reasonable hand. So he has a Forest and no Mystic, so he's just on all basics. It's kind of strange. Nykthos is not bad, since we have 3 things that give us Devotion. But we don't have anything big to do with this. But if we go turn 2 Weird, turn 3 Burning Tree, and then we can use Nykthos to play the Reckoner. So that's not that bad. So it lets me play Burning Tree a turn earlier, basically, because otherwise I would have to go Weird into Reckoner. And then if I draw anything else, if I draw a dragon, then Nykthos is awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this. My cat is currently playing in my sink. Okay. So he does have a ton of basics. And a 5/5. 5/5 is so big. Ooh, 2 burning trees. So now the plan may have changed. Because I don't really want him to untap and then be able to monstrous Plukernos and kill a burning tree or something. I think I just want to Dreadbore this now. But I'll probably play, yeah, I'm going to play Blood Crypt and play out these 2 burning trees. Do that. So, Mortars is going to get me pretty bad this game, if he has it and gets a 6 mana. All the basics. No more 5/5s. Stop it. Ooh, Stormbreath Dragon. Okay. So we can add 6, 7, so we can't play Stormbreath and Reckoner, which is unfortunate. Just playing Dragon. So I actually get to attack this turn, can monstrous it next turn if he doesn't Mortars it. And I feel like if he has Mortars this game, it is going to get me regardless. Because even if I play Reckoner that turn, he can Mortars me, and then I can only deal 4 to like Plukernos or whatever. So I definitely have to add to my board because these 3 aren't doing anything. There might be an argument for like, even if I play Reckoner, he's still going to Mortars me, and then I'll want the Dragon for follow-up. But if he does Mortars me, I deal him 4, put him to 15, that would be the 4 that this dealt. And then I would have Dragon as a follow-up, but I would still need to draw another land. And if he's at 15, he's attacking me down to 13. And then has the potential to monstrous. Could even have like Gorkland Rampager or any other sort of follow-up. This Dragon is not likely to beat his Plukernos plus Mortars. So I don't think sandbagging this helps me very much. So I'm definitely happy just attacking with this, hoping he doesn't have Mortars. Okay. That's 9 damage, and then presumably Domri to fight and kill my dragon. Oh, well, the old Brad Nelson Fleshblood trick. That is also acceptable. Oh man, I would have drawn Ultimate Price too. Should I have chumped with something? That seemed wrong. Not many people play Fleshblood anymore. I was definitely not trying to play around that. That was super awkward. I don't know, even if I do chump with something like Burning Tree, he gets a Rampager and then he can flesh my Stormbreath Dragon, and then I still basically have nothing. I'm drawing Ultimate Price, so I could play Reckoner Ultimate Price that turn. It's like, you know, game's still kind of close. But, yeah, that was pretty bad. I'm not sure if I should be playing around stuff like that or not, though. It is kind of weird, but for him to be straight green-red is also kind of weird. So, I don't know, maybe I should expect something like that in a normal green-red deck. So I kind of want this other Chandra since I'm on the play, but I don't know, there's nothing I really want to cut. The cut would be a hammer, I guess? I don't know about that. Yeah, I want to keep the hammers. So we'll try this. Reasonable, not super exciting. Missing my black splash if it ever comes to that, so probably need to draw a black land at some point, and you know, some bigger high-end threats. This is certainly not bad though. Can have a pretty good turn 4, I think, assuming he doesn't brick wall me with a 5/5. So in most cases, including this one, I think I'm just going to lead Frostburn Weird. Last game one, it was able to, deal a point or whatever to get through his Sylvan Caryatid. I guess if he is going to have Caryatid and this is only going to deal him 1 damage, then maybe I should play Ash Zealot, get in 2 this turn. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be using my mana next turn. So, yeah, it is just Ash Zealot now. Alright, so definitely playing Burning Tree and adding 4 mana. And I can play 2 Weirds, or just a Reckoner. Weirds deal more damage if he doesn't have Pelucranos. But the odds of him having Pelucranos are certainly there. What did he do with this Scriven? He bottomed the card. Yeah, I'm just going to play Reckoner. It's possible I should have just attacked, like, maybe he plays around Rumble Belt Maka or something. I highly doubt it. Oh no, the Courser. Kinda wish I had 2 Frostburn Words now. So if I played 2 Weirds, I would have 8 mana, 9 mana. So you could play this, yeah, and double pump both of them, so that'd be 8 damage. 4 if he trades. Other option would be sending in both of these, and he can eat this, but then take 10 down to 8. And then I would have 4 guys, one of which is a Reckoner. Well, now, I'm not going to suicide one of these to get in 2 points. Please block. That would be great. I would be very pleased. Pretty sure you need that Courser guy. What is happening? Am I disconnected? Alright. Block if you want. It's fine with me. Alright, fine. Well, he's going to be missing another land drop. Has another Caryatid, which is fine. I can still attack with all of these 3. Doing the attack that I was talking about last turn, where if I had the 2 Weirds instead of this, where I could suicide my Ash Zealot, is probably not that great when he has 2 Caryatids to potentially block with too. Since I think he's just going to block one of these. He's going to eat this, block here. The other Caryatid, like, he's not going to risk his Caryatids because they're his only sources of mana, and presumably he has stuff like Pelucranos or even like this Rampager that he draws next turn. Like, he probably wants to cast this. So I don't think he's going to put Caryatids in risk. And then, like, so like one of them gets to just like bounce with the 2/2, and then I deal him 11 damage. But I think it's the same 11 damage if I just attack with these 3. Okay, Phoenix is pretty sweet. Every single game though, every single game, it's like, oh, I know that people in the comments are going to be like, oh man, Fnatic would have just dealt him 1,000,000 damage. But the games that look like this are generally ones where Fnatic or Phoenix, or like literally any card, are going to help you win the game. Because like I like my spot now. I don't think it necessarily matters if I have a Phoenix or a Fnatic. Yeah, Fnatic basically kills him though. 12 damage. Yeah. Puts him at 3. Alright, so he gave me a 5/5. Same deal where I'm going to make these 3/2s with what I have, so that he can't just block with Elvish Mystic. And I think I'm just attacking with these 3. It's like I said, these 2 just go over here. I don't think this is blocking. Maybe he trades though, I don't know. Maybe he wants to trade. I think that's fine though, because if he trades here, next turn these Caryatids are probably going to be used to tap. They're probably going to get tapped to cast something. So I think it's better just to keep these back. The Fnatic versus Phoenix thing is certainly interesting. Like, if you guys have watched the other videos in this, okay, so he's not blocking. Oh man, I wonder if that means he has mortars. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. That puts him to 4, and then mortars kills him, or Phoenix kills him. So I guess I'm not worried about that. Glad that he did not block. I don't know, like obviously you can play against decks like these, where Fnatic is going to be awesome. But at the same time, the biggest 2 decks, I think, are Black Devotion decks and Blue-White Control, and those generally don't let board states get to the point where you have 5 guys in play, at which point, like, Fnatic is pretty bad, whereas Phoenix is almost always good. So I think it's important to consider things like that. If I was expecting a different metagame, by all means, like, I'm fine with playing Fnatic, but it's just not been very good for me. So what is this guy going to do? How's he going to get out of this? Ooh, that is a start. Back up to 11. Dreadbore with no black mana. It's kind of funny that, like the White Splash versions, you can backdoor white mana with like Nykthos Reckoner. So like if this was a Chain with Rocks, I could cast it. But the fact that it's a Dreadbore and none of my hybrid guys are black, it's kind of unfortunate. I think it's still okay though. Again, these 2 guys just get eaten by these 2 if this blocks here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so if he goes to eat my 2 guys and then jump here, then he's just dead. So what is his best block? Maybe here, here. No, that's better off blocking weird. Yeah, this is a good attack. So put him to 1. Yeah, this puts him to 1. And if I want to trade Weird for Disciple, I can. I think that's a good trade because if he has another Disciple, I don't want the Devotion in play. Just a casual 9 mana floating. That's cool. So he's at 1. Gets to play Force up to 2. Another Disciple puts him up to 8. But I think I'm still doing okay. This Phoenix is doing work. It's like still killing him is just more of a slow burn. And since he had to block with Caryatid, he can't Mortars me, but he can do that anyway. I think he needs Disciple, and that's like the only way, and even then, just like Phoenix takes such a big chunk out of him each turn. Like, I'm not sure how he wins this. Still at a pretty healthy life total, so even like Rampager Flesh Blood doesn't do it. Although he does have 2 Rampagers now. Oh wow, he's attacking. I have no idea what's going Okay, I'll take 6. There, you're gonna flush my Phoenix, or fight my Phoenix? You're still dead. Okay, well, you killed my Phoenix. Alright, so that was round 2, not doing too bad. 2-0 so far, and in the hunt for some QPs.